Good morning all. Welcome to Conduct Learning, How to Learning with Study. So we are at a chapter Metals and Non-Metals, and this is the third chapter for class 10 science. Previously we have done the reaction of metals with non-metals, and we came to know that what is the ionic compounds. Now we switch toward the occurrence of the metals. To understand the occurrence of the metal, first of all we have to understand how the metal are present in nature. Metals are divided into the three categories. One category is the metal who are very reactive in nature. Second metals are middle reactive, and third metals are unreactive. The unreactive metals are like silver and gold. And what is the meaning of their activity? The meaning of their activity is that how the metal is reacting with air and water. For example, silver and gold and platinum, they are not reacting with the air present in the environment or water. So that's why they are unreactive metals and they are found in free state. So we do not require any process to extract this metal from natural compounds. On the other hand, the metal can be highly reactive or metal can be middle reactive. Highly reactive metals are, for example, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, etc. And the middle reactive metals are iron, aluminium, etc. So these metals are not present in free state. We have to extract these metals from their ores, or they are present either in oxide ore form, carbonate ore form, or sulfide ore form. So that's why we need a electrolytic process to extract these metals from their ores. To understand the occurrence of the metal, first of all we have to understand some words. Like first thing is minerals. Minerals is basically the natural occurring compound of metal with some impurities. The impurities or the natural occurring compound of metals are like oxide of metals, carbonates of metals, sulfides of metals. They are all are minerals. The second word is ores. Ores are those minerals from which the metal can be easily extracted or profitably extracted. So ore is the only mineral from where or from which we are extracting the metal usually. Or we can also say, or we can also compare the both, like minerals can be ore, but ores are always minerals. That means to say, from any kind of minerals we can't extract the metal, but for every kind of ore we can extract the metal. So ores are minerals, but all minerals are not ore. For example, clay. Clay is a mineral for aluminium, but we can't extract the aluminium from clay. But bauxite is the ore and we can easily extract the aluminium from the bauxite. Either the or bauxite is a mineral itself, but we can extract from bauxite aluminium from bauxite. But we can't extract the aluminium from clay, which is a mineral only, but not ore. So clay is a mineral, but not a ore. Third thing is gangue. Gangue is the metal compound which come with some impurities like soil, sand, rocky material, etc. For example, aluminium will always come with the gangues like sand, iron oxide, sulfur dioxide, etc. So these impurity when added with the metals, then it is known as gangue. Fourth is a metrology. Metrology is a process by which we are extracting the metals. So metal can be extracted from the ore by employing different separation techniques, and the process used for extraction of metal in the pure form from their ore is called metrology. So we are applying different separation techniques on ore to extract a metal from its pure state or pure ore, and the process is known as metrology. This is the metal activity series. We can see potassium, sodium, calcium and magnesium. They all come on the top of activity series. They are highly reactive metals. This G is with this M, known for magnesium. Aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, etc. are less less active than potassium, sodium and calcium. That means to say they are come in the middle of activity series. On the other hand, if we talk about mercury, Hg, silver and gold, they all come in the least active metals. So they are present in free state. If we particularly talk about gold, it is present in free state in nature. So we do not require any metrology process to extract it from their ores. Extraction of metal of high reactivity. If we talk about potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, they are the highly reactive metals. And if we want to extract that metal, we need a electrolytic reduction process. Here in the electrolytic reduction, sodium, magnesium and calcium can be obtained by electrolysis of their molten chloride. So from their molten chloride, we can provide electrolytic reduction and we can extract this metal. When the electrolytic process is happen with these metals and with their chloride, the metal are deposited on the cathode side. Cathode is negative charge electrode. So metal are positive charged. So they will attract toward the cathode and they are deposited on the cathode. And from this cathode we can simply take the metals. On the other hand, the chlorine which is having negative charge, they will be attracted toward the anode. Anode is positive charge. The same thing is also written here. At cathode, for example, sodium. Sodium is a highly reactive metal. It is present with a positive charge. So it is attracted toward the cathode. Cathode having negative charge. So it will be deposited on the cathode and we can extract it. And its chlorine, molten chloride will be having negative charge and it will be attracted toward the anode and we can extract it from the anode side. NaCl you already have done in the previous example where you come to know because of 11 atomic number and because of 17 atomic number, the sodium was a donor and chlorine was the acceptor. So when sodium gives us one electron, it becomes positive and chlorine take one electron, so it becomes negative. So the charge is coming on the sodium and chlorine in that way. When they put in the electrolytic process, so they will be deposited accordingly. Sodium having positive charge, so it will be deposited on the cathode, and chlorine having the negative charge, it will be deposited on the anode. So in this way we can extract the highly reactive metals. Extraction of aluminium. This is not a highly reactive metal, but this is come in the middle of the reactivity series. But it is the example that will show you how we can extract the metals. For example, aluminium is reactive metal. Aluminium is reactive metal. Aluminium is extracted from its main ore bauxite, as I told you before. And the chemical name for aluminium ore bauxite is Al2O3H2O, where Al2O3 is aluminium oxide and H2 is present. H2O is a water. It contains 30 to 70% of aluminium oxide. So that means to say most of the part of this bauxite is aluminium oxide. So to obtain this aluminium oxide from its ore, we have to do electrolytic reduction. So another part of this bauxite is, which is known as gangue, that is containing sand, silica and iron oxide. Silica is SiO2 and iron oxide is Fe2O3. So this is a gangue from which we have to extract our metal. Bauxite is a ore. Gangue contain sand, silica and iron oxide with this bauxite. So bauxite itself is not come individually. It comes with sand, silica and iron oxide. That's why the combination of bauxite with sand, silicon and iron oxide is known as gangue, and without sand, silicon or iron oxide it is known as bauxite. So we always extract metals from the gangue, so that's why we have to separate the sand, silica and iron oxide from bauxite first of all. So step 1, it is contained in the two steps to extract the metal, aluminium metal, from its gangue or ore. So first of all, we will have our bauxite with us, and we will apply a bare process on it. Crude bauxite contain impurities like iron oxide and silica, as we discussed before. These impurities are removed by bare process. We have to apply a bare process. And what is this bare process? We will discuss now. In this process, the ore is first crushed. First of all, we will crush the ore. We will convert the ore into the small particle or in powder form, and then treated with hot concentrated caustic soda. Caustic soda is NaOH, sodium hydroxide. It is a base basically. So we take first of all the ore of bauxite, we crush it, convert the ore of bauxite into the powder form, then we will treat it with the caustic soda, which is known as NaOH or base or sodium hydroxide solution. And the pressure will be high for 2 to 8 hours, and the temperature will be around 140 degree to 150 degree Celsius. And the material, the matter with bauxite and caustic soda will be in a tank, and this tank will be known as digester. So that means to say, we take a tank, we will crush the ore, we treat with this crushed ore with sodium hydroxide under the pressure at high temperature 140 degree to 150 degree Celsius for 2 to 8 hours in a digester. Alumina oxide being atmospheric in nature, dissolve in aqueous sodium hydroxide. So this is present in amphoteric form. So that's why it will be dissolved in sodium hydroxide. So aluminium oxide Al2O3 will be dissolved in sodium hydroxide, that means to say NaOH, to form water and sodium aluminate. So here we can see the reaction in the digester. In the digester, aluminium oxide will react with the sodium hydroxide and form sodium aluminate and a water. The iron oxide in this gauge does not dissolve in the active sodium hydroxide and remove by filtration. So as we know that gangue is always come with the sand, sand, iron oxide and silica. So thus iron oxide is the first thing we have to remove. So when we have to remove this, it will be simply not dissolved in NaOH. So it will be separated by filtration only. That means to say, it will be not dissolved in NaOH, so it will be not form any other compound with NaOH, so it can be easily removed from the by the filtration. However, the silica will be dissolved in the sodium hydroxide or forming the water or sodium silicate. So this is what the silica can remove. The only thing left with us is a sodium aluminate. We will treat that sodium aluminate because H2O is removed. So iron oxide is already removed. In H2O we have removed silica. So iron oxide we removed by filtration. The only thing which will be left with us is a sodium aluminate, and we will treat that sodium aluminate with the water and then cool it to the 50 degrees Celsius. And what will be have after reaction is this. So when sodium aluminate react with the water, it forms sodium hydroxide and aluminium, right? So we can simply have aluminium now, and after filtering the precipitate and wash it and dry it and ignited it at temperature of 1000 degree, we got aluminium. Aluminium is Al2O3. This is what we have from this. This will be heated. Aluminium, aluminium oxide, alumina is having with us, and the water is separated. Now we have to work with this aluminium oxide or aluminium. The same thing we can also see we can also understand from this diagram. Here in this diagram, we will first start from there. Here we took the bauxite, we crush it, we mine it, and we put this bauxite in a digester or pressure washer. where the temperature is around 170 to 180 degrees Celsius. Previously it was given like 140 degree to 150 degrees Celsius, but the pressure, that temperature will be around this degree Celsius, and the bauxite is combined with sodium hydroxide. After the reaction take place between them, we formed a silver sodium aluminate, and the impurities like iron oxide we filter it, and the silica is combined with the water, so we can remove it. After the product formed, which is known as sodium aluminate, is cooled under water up to 50 degrees Celsius, and we form a aluminium precipitate of aluminium, AlOH3. This AlOH3 is treated, first of all it is filtered, it form in crystal form, after that is washed, then after that is dried and ignited at temperature of 1000 degrees Celsius, and we formed with finally aluminium oxide. Now to extract the aluminium from aluminium oxide, the step is second. In the second step, we will do a electrolytic reduction on aluminium or aluminium oxide. In this process, molten mixture of pure aluminium will be treated at 2000 degrees Celsius in a steel tank. This tank is with the lining of carbon, that is a lining of graphite, which will act as a cathode, and another carbon, other form of carbon, that is graphite, will be dipped in the form of rod in this molten electrolyte. So on the both hand we having the carbon. One carbon is act as a cathode, that is a lining on the tank, and other carbon is in the form of rod that will be dipped in the molten electrolyte and act like a anode. To reduce the melting point at about 1000 degrees Celsius, we will mix these compound into the mixture. The diagram for the same is given there. Here we having the molten aluminium oxide, one cathode anode, that is in form of rod, which is dipped in the molten electrolyte, and another is a lining which will be act like a cathode. So our metal, when the current will be passed into that electrolytic process, the metal will be deposited at the cathode because it is having the positive charge, and the oxygen will be deposited at the anode. So in this way we will collect the aluminium, and the same thing is written there also. Aluminium will be attracted toward the cathode and can be accepted. Oxygen will be liberated or collected or attracted toward the anode, and it can be removed. So in this way the aluminium is extracted from its ore, bauxite. Extraction of metal of medium reactivity. Medium reactivity metals are iron, zinc, lead, copper, etc. They are always present in form of either its carbonate form, or its sulfide form. It is very easy to extract the metal from its oxide, but it is very difficult to extract the metal from its sulfide or carbonates. In sulfide ores, the metal which is present in the sulfide ore, they have to convert it first of all into the oxide form, and for that it will be strongly heat in the presence of excess air. Please note down. The sulfide ore, the metal which is present in the sulfide ore, have to first of all convert it into its oxide form, and after that it will be extracted from its oxide form. So to convert a sulfide ore into the oxide form, the sulfide ore have to heat strongly in presence of excess air, and the process is known as roasting. On the other hand, if the carbonate ore is there and we have to convert that carbonate ore into the oxide metal form, then we have to treat it with a highly strongly heat in presence of limited air, and this is known as calcination. So the only difference between the roasting and calcination is that in the both cases we are treating the ores with the heat, but either with the excess air, either with the limited air. And the another difference is that roasting is for sulfide ore and calcination is for carbonate. After that, the chemical reaction take place during the roasting or calcination, and we will form a oxide form of metal. Here the example is given. For example, zinc sulfide we will heat this zinc sulfide in presence of excess oxygen. This 3O2 is there. After that, we will have zinc oxide in the output side and sulfur dioxide on the product side as another product. Calcination of zinc carbonate give us zinc oxide and carbon dioxide. ZNO is a zinc oxide and CO2 is a carbon dioxide. Now we have to extract these metals, zinc from zinc oxide in both of the cases from their oxide form. So we have to treat these metals or treat this metal oxide form with the suitable reducing agent. Reducing agent is the agent which reduce the oxygen from a compound. So when we will react zinc oxide with carbon, then we will have zinc as a product or carbon monoxide as a second product. So what we are doing here, we simply first of all converting zinc sulfide or zinc carbonate form into their oxide form. We have zinc oxide in the output side. Now from this zinc oxide we have to extract a zinc only. So that's why we need a reducing agent, and the carbon is a reducing agent in this process. So when carbon being a reducing agent reacting with the zinc oxide, it gives us zinc and carbon monoxide. So in this way we are extracting the medium reactive metals with the help of either roasting or calcination or with the help of a reducing agent. Roasting and calcination is to reduce the metal from its sulfide or carbonate form to oxide form, and reducing agent is to extract the metal from its oxide form. So the another examples are also there, which is also for highly reactive metals. Besides using the carbon to reduce metal oxide to metals, highly active reactive metals are all like sodium, calcium, aluminium, etc. are also used as reducing agent because they can displace the metal of low reactive from their compound. For example, magnesium dioxide. Magnesium dioxide when heated with the aluminium powder, it gives us magnesium, aluminium oxide and heat. So in this way, highly reactive metal can also be extracted by using the aluminium as a reducing agent. The example is here for iron oxide also, where the aluminium is using as a reducing agent, and we form iron as a separate product and aluminium oxide as another product and heat with that reaction. Extraction of metal of low reactivity. The metal at the bottom of the activity series are least reactive. They are oftenly present in free state. That means to say they do not react with the oxygen or a water present in the environment. So that's why they are free in state. So we can easily extract them from their ore. But the metals like copper and silver are little bit reactive with the water or the air present in the environment. So that's why they form in sulfide ore. They present in sulfide or oxide ores. So they are present in the form of their oxide or sulfide ores. So we have to extract them by using some process like heating in air. So if copper sulfide is heated with the presence of air, we can form a copper oxide. Or further, this copper oxide when heated with the copper sulfide, then it forms copper or sulfur dioxide. So this is how the least reactive metal can also be formed or can also be extracted. This is required only the heating. I repeat again, copper sulfide converted into the copper oxide by just heating in the presence of air, and after that the copper oxide is further heated in the presence of air and form copper only with sulfur dioxide as another product. Extraction of metal of low reactivity again contain the example of cinnabar. Cinnabar is a ore of mercury, in which mercury is first heated and converted into the mercury oxide, and further the mercury oxide is heated to give us mercury. So the same process is written there also. When HGS, mercury sulfide, या cinnabar is heated in presence of oxygen, it gives us mercury oxide and sulfur dioxide. When mercury oxide further heated, it gives us mercury and oxygen. Refining of metal. The metal produced by various reduction process describing above are not pure. So that's why they need refining, because they always come with some impurity. So the process of refining the metal is known as electrolytic refining. Corrosion of metal. Metal normally react with the environment or normally react with the air or water present in the environment. So they are getting crude. So we need to be protected from the corrosion. So there is another different methods are used to protect the metal to be metal from metal to be get crude. Corrosion of metal can be prevented if the contact between the metal and air is getting cut off. This is the only way to get protected the metal from getting crude. If we disconnect the contact between the air and metal, so this can be done with a different method. Corrosion can be prevented if metal is coated with something which does not allow the moisture and oxygen to react with it. Coating of metal with paint, oil, grease, etc. are always helping to protect the metal to be get crude. So we are usually use oil, grease or paints. Another process is like galvanization. Galvanization is a process by which we are providing a thin coating of zinc on the metal to give it a shiny surface or to protect it from getting crude. Tinning is another process in which we providing a tin layer and we treat the metal with a molten tin. Cooking vessels etc. are made up of copper and brass. They are getting greenish due to the corrosion. So to protect it, we are providing tinning also. Electroplating. Electroplating is a process of providing a cover of another metal on a first metal. Silver plated spoon, gold plated jewelry etc. are the example of electroplated metals in which we are protecting a metal by providing the layer of another metal. Anodizing is a process which we also discussed before, in which we provide a thin layer of aluminium on the metal, which prevent the metal to be further oxide. So this is for protecting a metal it is for protecting the metal from corrosion. This is an example where we took silver and spoon, in which silver will be attracted toward the spoon because it's a negative charge and silver having the positive charge. So it is deposited on the spoon and protect this iron metal to be get oxidized. This is the anodizing process. Alloying. Alloying is another example in which we will mix the metals and non-metals in defined proportion, which will be give the property of both metal as well as non-metals. Stainless steel is example for alloy, where the steel is not the iron combination is there or the metal combination is not getting crude. Another examples are brass, which is having copper and zinc, bronze, copper and tin, stainless steel, iron, nickel, chromium, etc. and carbon also. So these are some examples for preventing the metal to be get from the corrosion.